So we're down on the Syndicate. We've been doing a bit of filming this weekend, basically summarising the last season's fishing, which is the first season on this new lake for us. Whilst filming, obviously I've had the rods out and I've been lucky enough to catch one of the big ones. This one I think is the black tips ghosty, going 43 pound. It's like the second biggest ghosty in here. It's an absolute unit of a fish. Wait till you see this, guys. This is my third ghosty over 40 pound out of here, which is just phenomenal. Something really special about a big ghosty. You just can't beat it. And they fight so well. Let me turn around and we'll give her a look at the other side. Just can't believe my luck. Look at that. Just massive. We'll give you a look at the width of that. Oh, the width of that. She's just an absolute monster. Gonna get her back. Best bit, letting them go. Live to fight another day. Come on. We just decided to talk about the first season on this lake. So we've been on the waiting list for a really long time, me and my partner Tracy, and when we found out we got the tickets, I couldn't have been more excited, to be fair. Trying to find out what fish were in here and looking at Google Earth, trying to look for likely areas or any telltale spots or anything like that. So yeah, to say I was excited to get started was an understatement. Basically on the first trip down here, I fished how I normally fish, which would be like slack lines, helicopter style, stiff hinge rigs and things like that. Tips up, slack line from the tip to the lake bed, just out to the spots. And on the first weekend I didn't manage to catch anything, but I had a couple of strange occurrences where a carp had picked all the line up and pulled the swinger up. I burst into life thinking the rod was going to go, and then the swinger just drops down and you sort of see one kite out of the area, bow wave away. And I think I learned at that point I needed to be on lead clip. So lead clip was yeah, in the back of my mind, that I felt like maybe lead clip was going to be the way, give them less movement. You've got the rig and then you've got the lead, so if they're going to pick the rig up they've got a better chance of getting the lead. And yeah, basically I brought 15 millers down, and I learnt that weekend that the birds were going to get all of it because the lake was quite shallow, sort of 5, maybe 6 foot all over, just out of wading depth. But so yeah, the first 3 nights was a bit of a blank. Second trip, when we come back, we ended up in a new area on the lake, and the lake in question, it's about 30, maybe 35 acres. Like I say, quite shallow all over, but out of wading depth. Islands, snags, tree line, just mega, absolutely beautiful down here. But second trip, I lost one the first night, but not how you'd expect. So I usually struggle to sleep on the first night on the bank, just the excitement and the anticipation of what could be. So I basically got the rods out after work on a Friday evening, like just not long before dark, and I'm in bed and I'd had a beep on one of the rods, just like a single beep, not enough to get too excited about. And anyway, I've fallen asleep, maybe midnight, maybe 1 o'clock in the morning, and I think I got stirred by a couple of other beeps throughout the night, but again, like a single beep an hour later, a single beep 2 hours after that, like enough to make you open your eyes, but not enough to make you get out and investigate. Anyway, I opened my eyes about 5:30 that morning, and as I looked out the bivvy towards the rods, one of the bank sticks was over like that, and the rod was bent round. So quick as a flash, I shouted to Tracy, I've got to get the boat, fish on. And fortunately they was doing work nearby using the boat, so it wasn't miles away where they're normally stored. Jumped in the boat, life jacket on, back to the swim, got the rod, and Tracy come out with me, and we followed the line out, pulling it out of the bushes and all the rest of it. And basically there was a fair sized common. I don't want to say it was 40 pound, but it was a big common. And basically I couldn't get the net under it just because of where it was in the snags. So basically had to let it go. yeah, so went off to a great start, but fortunately the second night I managed my first one on the bank. That one going about £27, ghosty, not too bad a start to be fair at all. I think Tracy had like a 35 and a £17 common next door, so yeah, we was off the mark. Felt like the lead clips, the bait, they're going to want the bait, the hook bait choice just felt like we was on the right path. Anyway, the third session, that was the second session out of the way. The third session a week or two later, we come down and kind of think my plan in the beginning was I weren't bothered about catching because I'm in it for the long haul. So what I wanted to do was fish every swim possible. A weekend in a new swim, a weekend in a new swim the next weekend. Like every time I fish, I wanted to fish a new swim. And I figured if I could get a few bites along the way, learn a few spots, when you end up in certain swims and you know the spots and there's fish present, felt like you've already got half the answers on how to catch them, like you've got a clue. So yeah, the next time we fished in a pair of swims, so one for me and Tracy, and I fished quite long down towards like a snaggy tree line, and using 20 millers, as I said, the 15 mils were no good, the ducks were going to pick them up. I actually think it was 22 millers and a big old cauldron throwing stick, and I put about a kilo of bait over the left hand rod, and I had a couple. I found a clear area in the weed which was quite big, like maybe the size of a car parking space. I put 2 rods on that and a bit of bait over the top of that, maybe a kilo and a half. The next morning, I'm having breakfast in Tracy's swim and the left-hand rod melts off. And yeah, after a mega battle, you know, shoes and socks off, wade out, Tracy's given me the net. I've managed to net this fish. Really epic battle, trying to get in the snags. Managed to get it away from the snags. It's kited right, gained a bit, lost a bit. Eventually got it back and got it into the net. And I knew it was a decent fish. It was well over £40. I believe that one turned out to be a fish called Shannon's. I know that one's done 50, done 50 plus over the winter. So guys, I couldn't get fishing last week, but the week before I managed to lose a good one in the snags, which I actually saw, but just couldn't get the net underneath it. And then I had a blank saver after that, putting my first one on the bank at £26. This is my third session up here now, and I've managed a good one. £44, 2 ounces. Absolutely over the moon. Check out this bad boy. Look at the width of it. Tried to snag me up. Absolutely smashed me about in the fight. Proper epic. Wait till you see it, guys. Look at that. All £44, 2 ounces on the ever faithful TNT. I'll spin around and get a little bit. Look at the other side. Worth getting wet for, that's for certain. There she is, guys. Time to get her back. Yeah, basically one of my first members of the A team. Second fish on the bank, just mind blown. Session went quite well. I managed another bite. I reset that left hand rod down on the snags, and off it went. Like an hour later, off it went. I had one just under £30, a beautiful scaly. Looks like we're experiencing a bit of a red letter session. Just banking one over 44, and now just having this one at a smidge under £30. Spawned out, healthy, hard fighting. Absolutely loving my time up here. We'll get it back, guys. Hopefully there's going to be a few more. Tell your friends. Like absolutely beautiful, just a mega fish. And I lost one at 3 o'clock in the morning. So fair few losses the first year, but like I say, it's all a learning curve. And I think if you're gonna do well, or you're gonna catch the ones you want, you've got to make a few mistakes to learn the lessons. I think without making the mistakes, maybe you don't learn so much. Maybe they're not even mistakes first time round, they're a lesson. But certain things you do just sort of teach you, or give you a few bits of the puzzle to help you catch these fish. So I think that night I'd had a couple of beeps again through the night. One beep at 1 o'clock in the morning, 2 beeps at 3 o'clock, a beep at 5 o'clock, and when I'd gone out to the rod, it was already they'd already made it into the snags. Fishing locked up, so maybe the stretch in the line give them enough to get into the safety of the snag. So 3 bites that session, but down one. So over the next couple of sessions, I don't think I had any of the real big ones, but I caught like a couple of a pretty double, a couple of 20-pound commons, like 24, 25. I managed a nice ghosty, like absolutely mega, just photos come out well, the light was right in the sky, just everything about it was a good moment. I think that one went 32 pounds. And then after that, like I say, I was catching a few smaller ones, but sort of finding my feet. How about this then? Another one from the syndicate. I managed a 31 pound ghosty yesterday, and then this morning, this one. Absolutely happy days. Let's get her back. Tell your friends. So it was about September time, and we'd got in an area called the Snags and Daisies. And the Snags, I think Calder did a bit of filming there many years ago, and underwater footage, like, yeah, I think most people have probably seen that, but I'd lost a couple of fish. Within about 10 minutes of setting up, I got the first bite. And trying to keep them from the snags, obviously Snags Bay really snaggy, but hook and hold situation, and now and again you lose them battles, you don't win them all. And yeah, I'd lost a couple of fish and I was feeling pretty sorry for myself, and about 1 o'clock in the morning, Tracy's had a bite. The only bite of the trip for Tracy, to be fair, which makes me laugh. And it was 45 plus, fish called size fish. And feeling even more sorry for myself. Whilst we're sorting Tracy's fish out, we've just returned it and one of my rods absolutely melted off. And this one swam straight out of the snags, like we was meant to land it. And yeah, sort of almost kited into the net, you know, just absolute result. 40 pound 10, 40 pound 7, something like that ghosty, so PB ghosty. I think I've had a few ghosties out of here, PBs, a 32 before that, 27 before that, all PBs, as I've not had many ghosties in my time angling. Now I've had quite a few really big ones. There was a time in the spring where I'd fished in an area for a night and it just didn't feel like it was the one, so you can only go on a hunch when you set up. If you've not seen nothing, you might go where you think they are. And I'd done so. I'd seen a couple of fish, but they'd managed to move out without an evade capture. So the following day, I'd had to go out and get some supplies. I think I'd forgot gas or something like that, so I had to go to a local tackle shop and get some gas. But I moved the gear over to this, to a swim behind, open water swim, big swim. Moved the gear over to there, in prep for when I come back. This is probably about 2, 3 o'clock in the afternoon. And I got back, I got set up in this swim. Spent a bit of time finding some spots. And one I've waded out and sort of plonk, put in a likely looking area. And a bit of bait over the top, probably not too much. I'd probably put a few handfuls of bait in this area on occasion, so sort of priming the spot. And the next morning I had a mega one, proper battle. Proper battle, sort of first light, sun creeping over the trees, just like magic. And I landed a nice mirror of 37.12. 37.12 mirror, absolutely blown away. I thought I was staring down the eye of a blank, but not this time. So the run of luck continues. Check out this beast. Absolutely buzzing. Absolutely buzzing. That one, yeah, mega fish, really happy that session. I don't think there was a lot out of that session, so like, you know, when you get one, it just boosts your confidence a little bit. I'd had a session on another occasion. I was fishing round in a swim called Grassy. And first night, been a really popular area, done a few fish in weeks previous, and had an opportunity to get in there, and rightly or wrong, it felt like the right decision to do so. I got in there and I'm fishing 3 rods at range. I say range, about 90, 95 yards. Spread a bit of bait over the top with a spum, and I'd actually waded out. It's quite shallow in front. I'd managed to wade out about 4 or 5 rod lengths, and just putting 20mm boilies out with a stick, getting as much bait out there as I could. Felt like I needed the bait to be the feature out there. And anyway, about 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. Oh, in this swim, where it's quite shallow, you've got to put the rods in the water. You'd never net them from the bank, so it's waders on out in the water. I figured I might as well put the rods out there because the net's got to be out there anyway. That'll encourage me to put the waders on when I get the bite and go in for the fight. So about 3 o'clock in the morning, I think. I've had this bite, and I fish quite tight clutches anyway, but it's just melted off. Waders on, I'm out in the water, net, rod, playing this fish. I must have played this angry little thing for about, I don't know, 20, 30 minutes. Like, it felt like an age that I was playing this fish, and I was convinced in my heart of hearts, I was convinced this, like, the sheer power of this thing, it was going to be a big one. And literally, when I got in the net, head torch on, I've had a look, and I thought, that don't seem right. Didn't look big enough. Do you know what I mean, for the battle that had just commenced? But every time I got him near the net, he'd power off again, and he'd gone 50 yards left and 100 yards right, and, you know, taking more line at range. Just epic, epic battle. And when I got him in, he was a long, lean, common, like mid sort of 20, but, you know, basically like one long wrist, a big old paddle on it. So yeah, he put up a good account for himself. But the next day, where I'd been up that night, I was shattered, so I probably slept in past first light. Obviously, we all like to see the sun come up and look for activity and stuff, but I'd slept in on this occasion. And I got up a bit groggy the next morning, and come about lunchtime, maybe 1 o'clock in the afternoon, it was dead, but I felt confident. It was the middle rod that had gone. I've got 3 rods out there. I was confident that I was going to get a few more bites, and it didn't happen, so confidence dwindled off from the time I got up till like early afternoon. And I decided to wind the rods in and go for a walk, see if I could find them. And had a good look around, but I found them in a little corner in a snaggy bay, all overhangs and bushes. Everything's like right in the water.
The size of that's mid-40. I don't know if you can see them, but there's some others down there as well that are 50 plus.
And I couldn't believe it when I'd seen them. I must have seen about a dozen fish. And there's one called the 2-tone ghosty there. And he's like an upper 40-pound ghosty at the time. Big white stripe down one side, like the front half. Unmistakable when you see it in water. But due to the size of that, it's a really good gauge on the size of the fish around it. And I think I was looking at the small tail, the pretty mirror, like mid to upper 50s next to this thing. And I reckon there was like 10 40s and a couple of 50s in this spot. And like I'm stood by the tree trunk, sort of looking in. And I've never seen so many big fish. Like, you could almost reach out and pick them up, just incredible. So I sort of skipped back to Tracy. I said, babe, we've got to move. We started throwing stuff on the barrows. And as we was moving down, there was people walking around with Polaroids on, and I'm thinking, oh no, we're going to lose the swim. Someone's going to see them. Someone's going to see them. And lucky for us, we managed to get a barrow into the swim whilst people were sort of mooching around. I don't know if anybody's seen them, but they were getting close to that area where I thought they might spot them and we'd lose the swim. So we ended up setting up in there. And myself and Tracy, we fished 1 rod each into the area. I fished like one sort of short and close in, and Tracy fished one a bit longer down, but we're trying to cover the sort of areas that we were seeing them coming in and going out. And yeah, I used really light leads, super sharp hooks. Didn't want to spook them out with a big lead, and did the same on Tracy's. And anyway, first light the next morning, I'd put a bit of bait out, probably like, I don't know, 20, 30 baits, just one at a time, real subtle, trying not to disturb them. And yeah, first light the next morning I got a take. And I can't remember, I know I had 2 carp that morning and a tench. Nothing big, sort of low 20s, but one of the fish, like massive apple slice scales on it, probably one of them scaly stockies they put in 5 or 6 years before, but just, yeah, what a fish. Slightly unlucky, I hadn't seen any small fish in the area, I'd only seen big ones, but when the bites come, they were little ones. I think the other one might have been like a scraper 20 common, and then obviously I've had this pretty little mirror, followed that by a tench, and yeah, I think we kind of timed out. We timed out after that, and we couldn't fish the following week, and somebody had gone in that swim and they had the small tail at 56 pound. I'm not saying I would have caught it if I had more time, but you never know, do you know what I mean? I'd found them, I'd put the work in. I put a bit of bait out on it when I left as well, thinking hopefully they'll get their nuts down, you know, introducing the new bait, just doing, trying to do things to boost our chances. So obviously come the end of the year when the last bite was the small tail, I kind of felt like that was a bit of justice. I deserved that bite because I'd been so close in previous months, in in catchers and just, you know, getting the little ones, like maybe not getting the big one, but yeah, absolutely mega. Fast forward to the summer, so it had been shut for about 4 weeks for spawning. I think late May to late June, and the lake had said on the opening day, like the reopening after spawning, you had to be at the lake for 5 AM and the draw was going to be at 6. So me and Tracy, we moved heaven and earth to get down here. We'd got all our supplies, everything ready to go, like a day or two beforehand. And we left home at like 3 o'clock that morning and drove to be at the lake for 5, so it can be a couple of hours, hour and 45 minutes. And we got to the lake for the draw and there was one other person waiting at the gate. So in we've gone, we sort of made a decision between us who was going to go where or whatever the guy in question had said to us, I'd like that zone. We said no problem, and anyway, the head bailiff turned up, our fishery manager, and he said we've got to wait till 6 in case anyone else comes through the gate for the draw. So painstakingly we waited till 6 AM and nobody else turned up. So we decided to go probably like the furthest area from the car park. Like, I'd done a few fish recently. I've never fished a certain swim and it's got form for big uns. It's like one of the hot swims on the lake. It's in the history books. It's like well known. And I managed to get in there, and we was doing 3 nights. And yeah, anyway, set about finding spots, getting the bait in, fresh rigs, fresh hooks, you know, everything brand new. And I think the first night I managed a 24-pound zip ling. Nothing massive, but still a bite. It's always a relief when you get that bite during the session and you think, like, it can't go downhill from here. It can either get better or it stays the same, but, you know, you're not looking at a blank. You've had a fish and, yeah, it's all good. Basically, we didn't fish the winter. I believe the lake fished well over the winter, but it was kept quiet and we didn't know. Not that I'm much of a winter angler. I'm probably a bit too old for fishing in the depths of winter, and quite happily catch them when the sun's out, if I'm honest. But we ended up catching a few over the season, and as winter come, we took a few months out. So we probably pulled off end of October, maybe start of November, and we didn't come back until March. Just things going on in life and work, and yeah, you know, other stuff really. So we ended up coming back in March. I think it was March the 17th we come back. After the winter, and I was in the swim that I'd had the Shannon's fish from, and fishing to that snag yet again, and I'm standing there talking with a member the following morning, classic, same time as, you know, back in July, and Tracy's cooking breakfast, and I'm standing there talking to this member. I've met him a few times, followed him on Facebook for a bit, so nice to get to know him, and the rod rips off. That left-hander, I don't know why, it's all about that spot for me. I might as well fish one rod in that swim because the other two don't seem to do bugger all. And I've fished it a few times, I've fished them in different places, I've tried different things, and I can only get a bite on that left-hand rod. But that rattles off. Quick as a flash, I'm in the water, shoes and, well, socks on, but shoes off, joggers rolled up, playing this fish. I think where I hadn't had a fish in a few months, I didn't realise how good it was going to be. And I don't bully them, I let them take line when they want line, and if they give me line, I take it back, and however long the fight takes, I just, is how long the fight takes, you know. So I'm playing this fish, I'm conscious that there's another member watching me, and you don't want to do anything stupid or, you know, just conscious that you're being watched. And after, I don't know, a 10-15 minute battle, I've managed to hoik this one into the net, and I've looked down and I thought, well, that looks like a good common. And if any of you follow me online or whatever, you'll know I'm mad, I'm nuts for a common. I've got a bit of a chunk on the bank in the shape of this 40-pound 10-ounce common. Wait till you see it. First bite of the year, first session. I'm back, baby. Look at that. Absolute fighting machine. Got this one out, weighed it up and stuff, and that one went just over 40 pound at 40 pound 7, 40 pound 10, something like that from memory. And absolutely buzzing with that one. Reset the rod, done the photos, had the breakfast, all the rest of it, and a bit later on I've had a really unusual one, so I've got to take again on the left-hand rod. Fortunately I'm right by it. As I've hit the rod, it's literally just touching the snag, so it was like hook and hold. I kept a bit of pressure on, and eventually I got him away from the snags and moving. Really erratic fire. I didn't definitely knew it wasn't a big one, just from the speed it was moving at and, you know, stuff like that. And got that one in, and that was a one-eyed carp with loads of scales on it, like a nice scaly one, 25 ounces. Quite happy with that. But no more fish for that session. I managed a couple of recaptures, to be fair, but a really angry little male of about 19 pound, 20 pound. But every time I caught him, he's just rigid for the photos, like quite pretty, few nice scales on him. Dorsal up, just like angry. I think one point I picked him up and he was curled up, all tense, like he was gonna flip out. And yeah, that one I caught. I think I caught in the autumn the year before. And the first scaly I caught when I had Shannon's fish, a fish they let us know, Dexter's, with like Dexter's fish after our dog that had passed. And I managed to catch Dexter's again. I think the second time I had him, he was just over 30 pound, 4 ounces. So, but a mega, like a, you know, a wood carving, lovely and dark, beautiful scales, just a mega, like proper looking fish. I think we're getting on for about springtime now, like proper spring, probably April. And I've managed, I want to say 4 or 5 bites in the swim over quite a bit of bait as well. Like I got the first bite over a bit of bait over the top of 2 rods. Not fishing far out, 60, 70 yards, something like that. And I get this bite. Oh, yeah, before this. So I'm in this swim before. And I've had a bite at 1:30 in the morning. And I'm fishing locked up because I'm like snag fishing. And I've got this bite, and this fish is just power, absolute powerhouse, just flat rodded me. And hook pulled. Not fishing small hooks, I'm on size 4s, and yeah, just hook pulled. But when I put them rods out, there was like 2 up, they probably landed about 3 foot apart, so they're quite close together. On this bit, I've had bites off it before, like it's a promising spot. And anyway, I tried to sit up thinking like, classic big fish take, but he got away with it. I was thinking if he's hungry, he might come back and give me another chance. So yeah, you know, I probably dozed off about 2:30 whilst sitting upright in the chair, trying to keep my eyes open in case that rod goes again. Snag fishing, I'm set up with the butts poking in the door. I can touch it from the bed. I'm on top of it. But I think I dozed off about 2:30, 3 o'clock. About 3:30, same thing again. Just absolute powerhouse. Picked me up, flat rodded me on the tight line, and just bump off. Devastated. Like, you know, just nothing that trip, and then 2 chances, and fluffed them both. I think the next morning I had like a high double common. Nothing to really write home about. But couple of sessions later, and I'm back in the same swim, and yeah, I put a fair bit of bait out. It was like I was catching them over a lot of bait. It felt like they was hungry, and they wanted it. They wanted the bait. And I've managed to double take this morning, as this little angry mirror went in the net. The other rod melted off. Proper carnage, absolutely buzzing. Not the biggest at 19 ounces, but it's a proper little looker. Angry little guy this is, angry little guy. Let's see if we can get him. Chuffed with this one. Check out this one, 30 pound, 4 ounces. Absolute powerhouse of a fish. Tried to snag me up numerous times, putting up a proper good scrap. She's mega, absolutely mega. Let me show you the other side. Do they get much better than that? 30 pound, 4 ounces. Absolute powerhouse. Yeah, love it. Let's get back in the sling, do some water shots, and then I'll get a bit of footage of them going home. Let them go is the best bit. Thank you for gracing my net this morning, darling. You've made my weekend. Absolutely proper. Absolutely proper. Take your time, girl. You've got all the time in the world. I appreciate you. What a beaut. Absolute beaut. I think she's ready. I am back in the same swim. Like I say, I've got 2 rods back where I've had these this couple of big fish losses, potentially the same fish. And I've got the rods back on the dance floor, a bit of bait over the top, like everything's good. I'm where I want to be. And next morning, I get a bite. As I pick the rod up, it feels snagged, like lock solid, like I'm already in the snags, and I can't understand it. But I keep the pressure on. Not wanting to do anything stupid or make any hasty decision. I just kept the pressure on. I'm looking down the line. After a few minutes of looking down the line, I see the line start kiting right. Only a little bit, but it was lining up with, you know, a bit further along the bank. So I thought, we're in here. So I wound down, took the slack out, or not quite slack, but just like got it moving, wound down, pulled into it, and then it swam towards me. So I'm winding furiously, trying to catch up, and yeah, thinking, oh my God, where's it gone? Like, anyway, as it got in close, about 2 rod lengths from the bank, it hit the surface, big old ghosty, and it arced over, and bosh, he was off again, off on another run, probably 30-40 yards, but he kept rolling during the fight. And at this time of year, the water's chin clear. We're up on the bank, seeing this thing, and he's rolling. And you know when the line bounces off the peck, and your heart sinks in your stomach for that split second, you think it's gone or it's all over, like chance lost. And no word of a lie, this fish must have done it, I don't know, 8-10 times in the fight. But we're seeing him, he's rolling, barrel rolling, ping off the peck. I think I remember at some point I said to the carp gods, please let me get this one in, please. And fortunately for me, that one was, when it rolled over the net, we could see it was a good one. There's quite a few good big ghosties in here that go into the 40s. There's one that goes into the 50s now, so now we're a season and a half in, it's put some weight on it, it's done 50 pound an ounce. It's like a big ghosty. High on the target, that is, just because, why not? High on the target list. Anyway, got this one in the net. He was missing the bottom lobe off of the tail, but that didn't stop him fighting like an absolute powerhouse. Experienced another red letter day. Already banked a couple of nice ones this morning. Upper double, 19 pound mirror, a 30 pound an ounces mirror, known as Dexter's, one that I've caught before and lucky enough got to name. And now I've got a 40 plus ghosty on the bank. Wait till you see this thing, it's absolutely incredible. It's a mega fish. Mega. £40.12, and another big one under the belt from the syndicate. Absolutely buzzing. This session couldn't go any better. First night was a bit quiet, and then basically last night we heard the fish moving in on us, and since then the action started for Tracy next door and myself at first light, a double hookup, followed by this one at 11 o'clock this morning, which it now is 11, something like that. So yeah, mega battle. Felt like it snagged me up straight after the take, and I eventually got her moving. She was looking for every obstacle she could find to try and do me in and get off. Epic battle under the tip, and the absolute sigh of relief when she went in the net, buzzing. Anyway, we've done the photos of that. I think it was 41.12, 41.14, something like that. I managed another three fish that morning. Nothing massive, like yeah, another couple of little commons, another little mirror, like a little scaly one, like 12, 15 pounds, something like that. And then literally, I'd had one of the rods so that was on the spot that hadn't gone, and basically when I was resetting the rods, it was the same rod that was casting out, like half hour later, off again. Classic Sunday, getting all the bites on a Sunday when you know you're about to time out and got to leave to go home, you know. And yeah, the last rod, as I'm packing down, it's ripped off. And as I've lifted into it, it's just cut straight off, like I was hooked up on some sort of underwater snag that I was unaware of. Yeah, that was the end of the session, but lost a bite. I think that was the 4th or 5th bite. And I lost that one. Next session down, I think I've got to say, all the time, Tracy's catching a few as well, so it's not just me catching them, we're both catching equal amounts of fish. Tracy, in true style, was catching the big ones, do you know what I mean? The woman's touch, bless her. So fast forward, I suppose that was April. I suppose through May, I think I'd had a couple. Maybe we didn't fish that much. Looking through the photos, I don't think we fished that much. Through May, maybe work was kicking off, and I was working weekends at the time, so it was really hard to get out, just coping with the demand at work due to what I do. And then we got back, so I think we got back, the ticket was due to end on the last day of June, and we was renewing. There's no way I'm giving up this ticket. It's an absolutely amazing place to fish, the best place I've ever fished in my life. But so on the last day, I'm in a swim, and I think I'd had a little common at about mid-20, but massive pecs, and even massive pelvic fins, like the biggest I've ever seen on any carp, let alone a carp of that size. Like, he needed to grow into them, but that one was an absolute weapon of a fish, like real powerhouse. You thought you had a big one on during that fight. And then shortly after I'd landed that one, I seen the fish show, not where I was fishing, but the rod was in my hand. I checked the hook point. Generally, I would change a hook after I've banked a fish, and any fish, you know, you can't see if there's stress fractures or whatever. Just the hook point integrity is paramount for me. So you don't want to. I don't normally use a hook twice, but I checked the hook and it felt absolutely ready to go. So I've whipped this rod out. I'm telling you, it's landed in the rings of this carp, and it melted off in my hand. Absolutely melted off. I've had to loosen the clutch up, because it's, you know, just I'm locked up for casting, and I've got this one in, and it's a beautiful little, like, I don't know, mid to high double linear, but just mega. Got some good shots of it. The light was perfect, like, just, yeah, beautiful carp. Like, everyone counts. And then literally, I've got that one in when that one's gone in the net, one of my other rods has melted off. And bearing in mind it's the last day of the season for me, and Sunday morning, and yeah, I caught a few, you know, a couple of the known fish, like the 40 pounders and that, but there's a few 50s in here, and I think everybody on here is here for the big ones, you know. They're not joining for doubles and 20s or whatever. Like, you can catch them anywhere. But I hadn't had one of the 50s, you know, like. But like I say, I've got this linear in the net, and one of my other rods melts off, and I hit into it, and it's just absolutely solid, like, just a real brute. Eventually powered off, and I was just thinking, oh my God, like, this is something else, like, this is something else, and just feel the weight, you know when you've got a big one, like, they stay low, they move slow, but they're just like you're hooked into a car bumper, you know what I mean? And if it wants to go, you're going with it. Managed to get this one into the net, and this was one of the fish known as smalltail. So whilst I've studied the pictures of the A-team over and over again, I can almost tell you what fish it is as it's going in the net, you know, just seeing like the top of it or the side of it or something in the water. And smalltail's got it's called smalltail because on the tail he's got a smaller lobe on the top, absolutely perfectly formed, but just very recognisable. And on the scales, that one went 52.14, and the new PB by about, I think my previous PB was 49.4, so whatever the difference is, nearly £3.
So, where do I begin? Got down Friday night after work, fished Friday night and Saturday night. I think Friday night I had a mid-20 common, absolutely beasted me. Had the biggest pelvic fins and pectoral fins I've ever seen on a fish of that size, bigger than some of the big fish. This morning I managed a 15-pound linear, absolutely stunning, like really dark, perfect scale pattern, zippling, beautiful. Now man's just joined the 50s club. Wait till you see this. I think this is the smalltail mirror, one of the targets out of the syndicate, 35-40 acre pit. Wait till you see it, 52.14. It's been really hard to get photos of. As you can see, she's proper lively. Yeah, absolutely blown away. This is what carp fishing's all about, these special moments. You turn around, get a picture of the other side, and then we'll get her back. It's going to be hard to let her go though.
Yeah, managed to close the first year on the Country Park Lake with a 50 pounder on the last day, like, yeah, joining the 50s club, mega, never forget it, just the whole thing, you know. I don't know if it sinks in at the time, but certainly over the next few days, just telling your nearest and dearest what you've caught and sending your mates photos and little video clips you've done with it and all that, and just yeah, just what a moment to share with me, with my peers and my friends, just mega. And I'm currently about 8 months through the second season, and I would say it's gone a little bit better than the first season, so we'll get back in a few months' time and we'll pick up the story where we left off.